It's our throwback day. That's the day we tend to listen to songs from the 90s, 80s, 70s. Yes. Also 2000s and 2010s are not forgotten. Yes, we do our best. So today's going to be a bit of a mix, right? And I'll tell you why. In fact, the next song we're going to listen to just before we get to Power Update is a love song. And I'll tell you why at the end of this particular hour. But let's get to it now. How good a neighbor are you? What are the signs you look for in somebody to say this man or woman is a good neighbor? I agreed. We live in a time and an era, particularly here in Nigeria, where being a good friend, where being a good neighbor is a very daunting task, because you will be inundated with stories. Go on social media. That's how my neighbor, was sexually abusing my son or my daughter, or that's how the man who's at the top floor, we found out that he was an armed robber and he has been giving us more every day. Maybe he wants to use our spirit to do juju. The stories keep coming as to why people should ignore their neighbors. But I'm sure you do know that nobody does this life alone. You can't make it alone. You will go through those things on your own, yes. But your successes, your failures are very inextricably connected to another person. For example, no child is going to be paying their school fees at 3 years of age or 4 years of age. Nobody. Your parents do that. And no child is going to play with themselves forever. They will have friends. They will mix. They will mingle. They will make friends. They will make enemies. Children are very innocent. They like you. They like you. They don't like you. End of your story. There's no going back on this. So human interaction is imperative. And it is a sign of a healthy space when people are good neighbors to each other. Years ago, in the dead of the night, whilst we were sleeping, a fire broke out in a house. Those days, having a generator was a super luxury in this country. Not just it was a super luxury. If I'm not mistaken, I think on in fact, for 2 or 3 streets around us in the Lakaya Estate those days, only one person had only one man had a generating set back in those days, right? In the late 90s. Only one person. One of those nights, no power. We use candles. Those days was candles and lantern. These Gen Zs, they don't know what they're talking about. And the fire caught the curtains, and then boom, the room was in flames. Ladies and gentlemen, before the fire service could come, I don't think they even came, if my memory serves me right. But it was the neighbors. Neighbors. Those who were before us, after us, opposite us. In fact, the other street. They came around with buckets of water to quench that fire. These days, you hear stories of children getting kidnapped on streets where there are people. These days, some of you, with your bright lights and your halogen bulbs, right, whilst providing services, don't even know if your next door neighbor has eaten. I'm not saying, look, don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about getting into a state of utopia. No. But I'm asking, if you were to find out, just the way Jude finds out when I'm walking on the street and I hear people arguing and I pay close. What if you were to find out that your neighbor doesn't have cooking gas? Or the person is sick? Or, to show you how interesting this gets, right? The power comes on. Hey, people are shouting light don't come. But your neighbor's gen is on for over 5 minutes. Maybe he or she is sleeping. Do you put it off as you're putting yours off? The pump machine is full. The tank is overflowing, right? The pump machine is working over time. Do you go and turn it off? But nine turn to pump water. If you want waste time, make it waste time. And neighborly conduct doesn't just stop at your place of abode. It happens everywhere. One of the cardinal rules I'm sure somebody's going to quote today is love thy neighbor as thyself. But fuel is 1,200.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeriainfo FM. Nigeriainfo, let's talk. With Jude on 92.3
Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. But to call us, join in the conversation, we'd encourage you to do so. The numbers to call 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0007. Once again, 0817 923 0002. 0817 923 0007. All right, at Nigeriainfo PH, at Nigeriainfo PH is where you find us on Facebook and on X. WhatsApp is available as well, please. The number is 0809-030-6416, and it is for the reception of messages, please. Barry is on the line from Aji. Barry, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning, please.
How are you there?
Very well. Trust you're well.
Thank you very much.
Go on, please. Barry, step away from your radio, please. Can you do that? Step away from your radio.
All right, sorry.
Okay.
Okay,
go on.
All right, thank you very much.
Well,
the question you asked, I may sound very funny this morning because most of us are answering what I said to say, they can say good about how they are good with their neighbors. But most of us are not good with our neighbors. Some of us are not, the worst neighbor we have, that we can come on air and say anything we like because you are not seeing us, don't hear our voice. But it is only God that knows how good we are to our neighbor. You that will tell people how good we are. It is you that will tell you how much is in you, the neighbor. That's the way I understand. Because people are feeling. People is surprised we come on air and say any kind of thing they feel like to please you and I can hear. But they're not doing the right thing that asking to say this morning. So if you don't go,
okay, so Barry, let me ask you, Barry, do you think your neighbors are good in your area, whether it's where your business is or your house or where you attend worship? Do you think the people around you, are they good people? Let's be honest.
Yes. There are some good people around me where I'm living. My church, my environment, wherever I go, there are some good people. And there are also bad people that are living with me also. You get me?
Okay.
That's right. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Bob is on the line from Umbiama. Bob, good morning to you.
Good. Jude, good morning.
Good morning, please.
May your wisdom and days be increased and multiplied. By this gospel you present this morning about neighborhood. Jude, see, you talk only about basketball. What about football? When you have football, your mother bought you football, you throw it out, come and take company of your fellow youth boys that follows you to play that football. What about this thing we prepare with newspaper? We call it aeroplane and tie thread, string. It will fly up. Then you see some group of boys running with their own with you. Those days are gone. As I'm talking with you, my heart is bleeding. What has done this damage to us? This is the essence of the gospel of Jesus Christ. That is why we'll have more cases in the hospital. Kidney, heart condition, cancer. Because we just locked up. Because of fear of kidnapping, armed robbery, suspicion. You see, those days people live long because they are free with their neighbor. I am telling you the truth. I don't blow my trumpet. There's no day I go out to 10,000 naira that come back to it. Sometimes children I don't know. I don't look at your face. Have you eaten? I don't even ask who's your father. I just pass whatever I can pass with that. From the church around me, you see, you don't need to pray much. Doors will be open unto you. Doors will be open up to you. You don't need to pray or fast much. I'm telling you, not 21 days fasting. Just this simple thing that Jesus taught us to do. God taught us to do. Open way for us. You don't need to face a devil or fast or this thing. I'm not condemning fasting and prayer. You can do. But these are the things that, look at the woman called Dorcas in the Bible. She was dead. What was the testimony? Peter, this woman, look at the clothes she sold for us. Her name was Tabitha. Look at the clothes she sold for us. Please, you don't need her to die. Please let her live again. And Peter prayed, and Dorcas come back to life. It's an example. We need to live like that. Not these days that we are having. I'm telling you, the world is gone. I'm telling you, dude. You continue this program from time to time. These are the things we need to free. David pray one prayer, say, God, renew a right spirit within me. This is a wrong spirit we are having now. That things are difficult. Let us learn to label our neighbor. Care about the other person. Not you call in the morning, you lock up, we fence our distance high, put our fence high, nobody sees you until you come out again. No, it's wrong. It's wrong.
All right, Bob.
Thank you.
Bob says it's wrong. He doesn't think we are being neighborly as we ought to. Zion is on the line from the GRE. Zion, good morning to you.
Yeah, Jude, thank you for this discourse this morning. And so that's going to frame up when it has to do with our New Year resolutions. It will be part of it. So thank you for this discourse. So we want to talk about neighbors. We are only few that are neighbors in our environment. We are so allowed the ills of the society to take away that part from us that you cannot really define who is your neighbor. When your fences and your gates are so high, even higher than your roof, when you enter, you sealed your gate. Do you still have a neighbor?
When your fences are higher than your roofs.
Sir, until we get to that point to understand that the moment I wake up, the person that should hear my good morning, it is you that is the next door. Let's be honest. Neighbor. That is when I know that I have a neighbor. Not when I'm screaming in my house, you are not aware. If I've eaten, you are not aware. The only thing both of us are good at is on the street, good morning, how far? Fine, I will walk away. That is not neighbor. Do you know that God has so structured it that if I take care of my neighbor, you take care of your neighbor, there will not be criminals on the street of Nigeria. There will not be prostitution. There will not be kidnapping and rape of it because you are my neighbor. We are so degenerated to the point that if your clothes, you wash your clothes, you dry them and you went to work, rain is coming, nobody
removes them.
Nobody sees them. But the day you bring girlfriend enter your house, everybody knows the girlfriend don't enter your house. What kind of neighbors are we? Until we start to understand that I am not happy until you are happy as my neighbor. Let us be honest, most of the criminal events in our neighborhood are being perpetrated by our neighbors. It's a deeper discourse, Mr. Zion from Port Harcourt.
Zion, thank you very much. The last caller from Mumbiama mentioned something about football, and I was immediately thrown into nostalgia when I started to learn how to play football. We didn't have a football, but he was very right. It was my neighbors that had the football. In fact, they had two footballs. And so when school was done, particularly on Fridays and Saturdays, those days close 8, close 7, you see all sorts of... There used to be this guy on my street back then. His name is Mama. Mama, you know what? Have you ever met somebody who they will be begging, come and eat, come and eat, your food is ready. Instead of this young boy to go and eat, he's playing football. The minute it was so bad that in some cases, some parents would seize our footballs. Oh yeah, go your house, go chop. Night don't reach. You, I hear your mama they call you. Go chop. After una chop, sleep. Come back around 5. Today that Friday, na go fit play. You see us grumbling, murmuring, and the minute it hits 5 p.m., we're outside. We're going back to that. We're going to the next person's compound. How far now? Where the ball? Bring them. We're waiting for you. One ball was bought, but 2 streets were fighting to play the same ball. One ball. And it wasn't. Ezekiel from Ubin. Ezekiel, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, please.
Jude, if I may ask, who is a neighbor? Because what we are considering as neighbor now or is those who are mingling or associating with us. In my own perspective, I believe that the original neighborhood is in the rural areas where there is no fence, compound, where everyone will know where a firewood smoke or odor of food
is coming from,
the aroma is coming from, where you can shout snake, snake, you see people to help you and kill the snake. But in the urban areas, where everybody wants to feel or be like the King Kong in the city, with their fences being fenced as if they are being hunted with their friends even. Jude, I don't know if you understand that because of our consciousness, we had adopted the pattern of having doorbell in our gate. We must interrogate to know who is pressing or who is knocking on our gate before we open. So that is why I started by asking, who is a neighbor? A neighbor is the person whom I see whatever thing he does, his day-to-day activities, his pains and his feelings. Thank you very much. Ezekiel
from Umini. Yeah. Look, once again, I don't want us to get to the notion that we can't be neighborly. Times do change, right? There was a time in this country where adire was the standard practice for all those who were wearing clothes and trying to be fashionable. These days, it's jeans. It's a mixture. Ankara is coming back. Tie and dye is coming back. So it's a very healthy mix. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we cannot do that the same. Yes, society has changed. We have more people, millions of people. So obviously, more people will make wrong choices. That's what that means. That's the honest truth. At the same time, it should mean more people should make better choices. So who exactly is the neighbor? Who should you be neighborly to? And what actions constitute, a good neighbor? What are those things that if you were to see, you would say, let's take, for example, where you reside, wherever it is that you reside. So if you see this particular trait, you should know, okay, this person is a good neighbor, in your community. Now, interestingly, a good neighbor, from what I have here, would respect your rights and your privacy. Let me say that again. A good neighbor actually respects your rights and your privacy. A good neighbor knows, now here your compound day. Now my compound be this. So if things happen here, well, it's your problem. But if you ask me for my help, I should be able to help. But I will not come and say, I'll respect boundaries. 92.3. Hello, Port Harcourt. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. Welcome, please.
Kelechi from Port Harcourt.
Welcome, Kelechi.
Yeah, I will just ask this question and then hang up. On the issue of neighbor and neighborhood, can Nigeria ever get to the point whereby we will not have fenced houses in the urban areas, just like we have in foreign countries? Then if we can get to that point, I can boldly say we have a neighborhood. But until then, can we get to that point of having fenceless houses, buildings, property? Thank you very much.
Okay, all right, but let's face the reality. Like I said earlier, we have more people on the planet, more people in the areas, so more people are likely to make wronger choices, right? So having a fence may not necessarily be the bad thing, but where the bad thing is when your fence prevents you from, interacting with other people. Your fence is meant to protect you. It's meant to set a boundary. Once again, I'm not talking about utopia. And yes, there are communities, there are estates, here in Nigeria where, the outer wall is fenced, right? So everybody, yes, it's an outer wall fencing, but within the gated community, there are no fences. There are some of those type of housing developments here in Nigeria. Also very common in the US and in the UK, right? You just see block of apartments, there's no fence, right? But there are boundaries. People know where my yard stops, and that's why a lot of times some people put on fences so that nobody gets to quarrel about who's meant to clean here, who's meant to clean there. But it's not so much as the fences, right? But it's how people interact with or without the fences. Anyway, let me read your messages. 0809-030-6416. 0809-030-6416. Jude, good morning. My kindness has been misunderstood severally, so I'm no longer willing to be nice again, except I figure that you are the type that would appreciate my kind gestures. Gifted from Ajib. All right. I think a lot of people confuse these two words, all right? Nice and kind, right? Nice and kind. I think they are two different words and they mean two different things, all right? To be nice is to be agreeable, right? It means, when people come and say good morning, when people get to a place, you're more likely to say, okay, oh no, you can sit down, or, okay, all right, fine, you just agree. You are easy. In fact, the older definition of nice, years and years ago was one of a weak person who would be easily run over, right? But it's good to be nice. You are agreeable. You are easy on the eyes, right? Yes, you are nice. But kindness is a more powerful virtue than niceness. You see, with kindness, there's a potential to create positive change. How do you know a kind person? Someone who doesn't just give you the shirt off his back because my God said I should, but he gives it up because he knows maybe at that time you need it more than him. He has analyzed the situation and says, okay, well, I can give you this shirt. My house is not far. I'll be fine. But if you don't have this shirt, you could catch a cold, or even worse, you could die. You could be embarrassed. That's a kind person. He's not doing, or she's not doing it for plaudits. They analyze the situation. All right. Jude, good morning. See, I'm as good to my neighbors as you are saying, but all that forms won't let some people to let that happen. Also, people being afraid because of religion has made us to only think about negative things more than the positive things. As this Christmas is coming, during my childhood time, the greatest gift to all children then is the food to any house that you go to, and not just money, but today the case isn't the same. J. Moore in Port Harcourt. Hi, Anonymous. See, one of the roughest, hardest, most painful lessons I ever learned is not to help everyone just because I have resources. Not long ago, some stuff were approved for release to my husband and I, things that we have been waiting for at least 7 years. I honestly thought those things were gone forever, but we were told that those things were just reserved and were always going to be released to us, but had to be withheld because if we had gotten it them, we would have wasted them. So my husband and I don't drink, smoke, or club, or dorime, but buy unnecessary designer stuff, etc. So if anyone has told us that we're wasteful before, we would have fought that and called the person a liar. But the truth is, we gave our time, energy, resources, and money to people who were in need but not deserving, or they were just wicked. It took us a while to understand that there is no heavenly blessing for giving to certain people. If anything, you paint a target on your back and create unnecessary extra work for your ancestors, angels, and spirit team who will have to work overtime to keep you safe because you have no discernment, boundaries, or common sense. I mind my business now. All right, I agree people should learn to mind their business, no doubt. But does that still mean that we should stop being good neighbors. The truth is, we can never do without each other. Interesting. Right? Especially our neighbors. Growing up, my father was often absent, but our neighbors, particularly the old woman, were there for me. She took care of me, and I would often sleep in her house. Other neighbors would give me rides from school. Can you imagine? In those days, neighbors were like extended family. We help each other with household chores, borrow tools, even sit in each other's bedrooms without hesitations. Our fathers would gather to discuss current affairs, and we, the children, would play together. Unfortunately, times have changed, and things are no longer the same. Merdich from Transamadi. All right, times indeed have changed. But should you?
Nigeriainfo. Right back after this.
In the kitchen game, there are players and then Agba Ballers, MVP, Player of the Year.